this is the direct result of US sanctions on your financials.
That's right. It's great to be back on your show, and I'm enjoying the new time slot. Yeah, this is been a major impact of the last couple of years, particularly decimating our consumer business, causing a drop of $30 billion in a year. But we have worked through this. Our business is stabilized, and our operations are steady, and we're leveraging our partnerships, 5G to business, and our research and development hit historic numbers, and we see a path forward, and that we are heartened and determined to move forward with a tremendous emphasis on innovation and partnership.
Andy, what is your hope for the net result of spending on R&D to get out of the impacts of sanctions?
Well, what we're seeing is working closely with partners, finding new kinds of technological capabilities that can be enabled by 5G and other technologies, so that when you look at ports and mining and healthcare and manufacturing, it's clear that these R&D investments are going to help strengthen operations, create greater funding, greater efficiency, and it's going to drive increases in gross domestic product in those countries that do it and those businesses that do it. So we're also doing some hardcore research on some of the major problems in science, such as Shannon's limit, the amount of error-free data that can pass through a channel, because we have to start getting ready for 5.5G and the amount of uplink and downlink capabilities that's going to be necessary. It's going to be a gigantic problem that the hard truth of science may limit the benefits of, unless we can overcome some of those hurdles.
What's happening in mainland China is Huawei's push into 5G for companies that are in China. How's that going? And can you replicate what you're doing in that field outside of China in other jurisdictions?
Well, I just got back from the Mobile World Congress, one of the largest conferences in the world, in Barcelona in late February, early March. So I had an opportunity to talk to a lot of customers, a lot of partners, representatives of a number of governments around the world, talking about and sharing lessons learned about what are the use cases for these technologies. Where can carriers, where can enterprise benefit the most from these new technologies to increase efficiency, reduce the carbon footprint, and bring new capabilities for monetization to carriers and to customers. And it's an exciting story. And frankly, as an American, I'm heartened that the investments we're seeing in the United States look to going to be increasing the amount of real 5G between now and 2025. So the AT&Ts and Verizons and T-Mobiles of the world are investing heavily. So hopefully America is going to learn some lessons and going to drive forward with some important progress in these areas as well. Because it's not just about making money, although it's important. It's about supporting small and medium enterprises and bringing a greater quality of life to our citizens and our companies.
There is changes afoot within Huawei. Meng Wanzhou takes the rotating chair position starting next week, I believe. How does that impact management structure, how Huawei is run? What's her grip on this technology company right now?
Well, it's an interesting situation, and it's highlighted again, but I've been with Huawei 10 and a half years, and this concept of having a rotating chairman coming in every 6 months, the structure of the company, the organization of the company is not dependent on the particular individual that's the rotating chairman. We have these structures, we have these processes, we have these compliance systems. All those things are in place. So the particular tone, the particular priorities of the rotating chair can have an influence, but the company is organized in a way that this creates continuity and stability.
Andy, there's a lot of focus right now on Huawei's activities within the chip space, semiconductors, a lot, especially on the software and design side. How is that going? Is it actually a material path to circumventing what the US is trying to do in terms of chip controls?
Well, frankly, we're kind of at a position of new normal. We're not looking back on those things that we can't do. We know that certain aspects of the uncertainty looking forward we can't control. And frankly, as an American, I'm heartened by the fact that the U.S. is investing in chip manufacturing. When I look at the efforts around the world to make up for the sanctions, I'm a little concerned about the potential impact on American jobs or the American semiconductor industry if they're not allowed to sell and continue to not be allowed to sell non-sensitive chips to Huawei and other companies. But Huawei's going to be fine. I'm kind of concerned about the future for the United States and some of the things we aren't doing to improve our competitiveness.
We saw China retaliate overnight, launching a cybersecurity review of Micron. It's a specific case, but what's your interpretation of China's action there?
Well, from my perspective, with a somewhat of a cybersecurity and privacy background, given the nature of the cybersecurity threats in the last couple of years, it's been demonstrated, and there's not enough emphasis, that in the SolarWinds and Microsoft Exchange server attacks, that so-called trusted suppliers are violated. So regarding cybersecurity and privacy, it's not about what company it is. It's not about what country it is. We have to have measures in place that are objective, providing assurance. There needs to be transparency, and there need to be accountability for companies and governments and individuals to do the right thing from a cybersecurity perspective and to protect their data privacy, because we're not doing nearly enough to protect data privacy in the United States.